Hey, welcome to today's Tomato Talk. That's right. Super excited about today. It is Friday, March 4th, 2022. We're going to give you a brief update as to what is going on in the months of April, May, June, July, August, September, and then throughout the entire year, and how important it is for all of this stuff, and how excited I am about some of these things that are just like all coming together. Now, I'm going to use that word I in here a lot. Let's just get that right out in the open. But a lot of this stuff can impact you. If all three things can impact you, all the better. But if any just one aspect of this whole thing is something that you want to get involved with, by all means, please do. So here it is. Number of years ago, I got involved with the Long Island Needs a Drag Strip, folks. LINADS. You've seen those stickers on the car. Long Island Needs a Drag Strip. Well, their process of trying to get a drag strip together on Long Island has been quite a few years working on it. I got introduced to them approximately 3 years ago through Dennis Catoni. We did a panel discussion with JVC Broadcasting, and we spoke about those growth areas on Long Island. MacArthur Airport into town of Islip, Brookhaven, and that was the Ronkonkoma hub, and then the possibility of a drag strip on Long Island. Who knew where that was going to wind up being, because it was still something that was being worked on at the time. Well, last year it was not something that was being worked on. It was something that happened actually in the other township. This is in the town of Riverhead. Very exciting that we're including all of Long Island in this whole thing, and that is what it should be. But the town of Riverhead, they gave approval to run the races, limited, but to run these drag races on one of the runways at the old Grumman facility in Carrollton. Fantastic stuff. Plenty of space, all good, worked out well, very concerned, and we paid a lot of attention. Paid a lot of attention to the environmental impact on the whole thing, so it worked out well. They had the races, first time in 17 years. They raced out in Carrollton, New York, at the EPCAL Center, the Executive Air Park, on one of the runways. It went great, absolutely terrific. There was an economic impact that helped out with the area. They saw a bump up in some of the restaurants. Some of the hotels saw an increase. And this is just the local folks going out there. So they got the approval again to do it this year. So April 2nd is when it begins. And there'll be a series of races throughout the whole entire year. In April, then it takes a hiatus. Then it's going to be August and September. One of the things that I'm super excited about the whole thing is that last year they were looking for a volunteer to help out with the announcing, and well, microphone was involved, and I was like, yeah, count me in on this. So I went out, did a couple of hours with it. Woo, did I have a lot of fun. This year I was asked to come back there and help out with the announcing again. So yeah, I'll be there. I'll definitely be there. Then we're looking at doing something beyond the track with it, maybe even live streaming the whole thing. So much more to say on so many of these things. That's why I just want to give you a brief update. So if you're on Long Island or not, and you want to travel over here and see some drag racing, and these are folks that will be the professional racers or not, come down. Fantastic stuff. The professional races, some of them brought some pretty quick cars that are there. In fact, there's a few that had the parachutes in the back of the car, but it's an eighth of a mile track, not quarter mile. And there was some limitations there with speed. It was 115 miles an hour was the top speed that the people were supposed to reach, or not go above that. If you did, you got a warning. If you did it consistently, you got more than a warning, because that was what the track was designed for. And it had the concrete barriers, all the rest of that stuff. I'm not going to go into the details there, but it was that. And then you have everything from the regular street cars, just getting out there and racing your car down there. Had to be a few safety features in it, but not much. Had to have a helmet, had to have windows up, had to have a muffler. Yeah, those parachute cars had to have a muffler attached to it. It was probably the most ironic thing, silliest thing to say, but they wanted so badly to participate in this thing, they put a muffler on the car. So that was where that went. So if you're into car racing, you got that aspect of it. Another thing that's coming up is going to be the whole idea with the vocational aspect of it. Now, years ago, the other project I got involved with, and I'm a board member of the ECNY Foundation, that's Executive Consultants of New York. I've been volunteering with a company called CEO, Career Employment Options, where we do these high school career days. I get the opportunity to make the opening comments, and I've done it with so many great people, totally sincere in what it is that they are doing, and to speak to these students at a number of different schools. I've also spoke to students in DECA programs and another program where they're going out, a virtual enterprise group, where they're attending trade shows and making pitches about their products and developing products. Fantastic stuff. But we're able to tie a lot of this stuff in because last year, and this is the third aspect of it, it was at the HIA, the Hauppauge Industrial Association trade show, this one that took place last year in 2021, brought it up with everybody. It's like, hey, this is what's going on. I think it would be an interesting opportunity to talk about vocational aspects, the vocational trades, and how some of these other projects might fit in with the whole thing. And then also from the career day standpoint, how it is that instead of the businesses going to the schools, maybe the schools could come to the businesses. They're there at that trade show. They were all there. A couple of the schools came, they brought their students. Number of schools came and they brought their workforce development staff members. Number of colleges were there. Many of the colleges are already part of the HIA. Many of the colleges were there. Many of the manufacturers are there because it's a trade show. Manufacturers are there. Many of the other groups like Ignite Long Island was there. And the committees that are really focused on helping the manufacturers find new employees were there because they were just naturally there. And then I brought this up with the Long Island Needs a Drag Strip folks. I was like, hey guys and ladies, here's what's going on. Would you be interested? The answer was yes. All I got at was, would you be interested? Yes. What a phenomenal group. So they brought, well, one, a full-blown race car, no muffler car, never started that one, and it was not able to race over at Cavalton, but we brought a full-blown race car, and we spoke about the story behind that whole thing. Also, a number of folks that came down there were people that had street cars, street legal cars, modified a bit, and they raced their cars there. And Dennis Catani, who's the coordinator for the whole thing with me, along with Bonnie and Johnny and a few other folks, that were really so instrumental in making this thing happen. They brought their cars, they brought a car they were working on. Oceanside High School brought their students, they brought a boat that school had built and a car that they were working on. John Consoli brought a car that he's working on. And we spoke about, with the students, about how those things they learn in these programs translates into checking off items on job descriptions at different places. We also spoke to the manufacturers about some of these programs that are taking place at the school. And granted, a lot of them knew about it already, but we reminded them then about how these students are learning different things in these programs and how that applies to some of the job descriptions that are out there for people that they're looking for. Work together as a team, check that off. Know how to read a blueprint, check that off. Know how to weld, some of them, check that off. Understanding electrical equipment, check that off. Understanding artwork, some of these cars, they get painted. You got a lot of visual graphics that go along with it, check that off. And a few other things that they are able to check off. And now they're gaining phenomenal hands-on experience inside the school, high school system, before even going to college, before even going on to some trade school or something like that, before even going directly to work. And even better, letting the business pay you to go to an additional schooling, whatever it might be that's needed. That's a great way to reduce college costs, my friends. Let this business pay for the schooling that's needed because your son, child, daughter is that good that they're willing to pay for the schooling that they need in order to progress or get the training, whether it's on the job or through the different schools. At Suffolk Community College and some of the other colleges got these great programs that are there. And they even subsidized through government programs too. So there's a lot going on. So now we had the students over there, which was such a great tie-in with the whole thing. So where does this whole thing come together? Well, because the HIA saw the importance of this whole thing, so they are actually reaching out. They want to have these students and the school administrators, school staff, workforce development people attend the trade show, which is going to be May 26th. The folks on the drag strip side of things, I mean, a lot of them have got their own businesses that are all hands-on within this world. They're building their own cars. They're doing the whole thing. Very successful at it. Because remember, these are the weekend folks, right? These are not sponsored cars. We got some of the business that's, writing checks. These people are paying for it themselves. So they've got the money to invest in these cars and doing that. So there's a lot of success around with the whole thing, a lot of different aspects of it. So that business thing. So if you're a business that's in the auto industry at all, or sees the impact that high school students can have in your business because of the training that they go through, man, you're there. And that's anything in the manufacturing. Construction is another big one that I could think of, and I'm sure there's a multitude of others. So there you go. So business people, if you're looking for potential future employees, this might be something to do. And we're going to get as many people down at the trade show as possible to make that work. This way you could speak to the schools directly and find out what they need, and you can tell them what you need and make it work that way. Ron Loveland, through the manufacturing committee, he's planning on doing a panel discussion, which we're going to be part of in some respects, but whatever. There'll be a panel discussion. The manufacturers got their own pavilion. There's going to be a lot going on there for that one. So that is an absolute. So also, if you supply to the manufacturers, you definitely want to be there for that. The race is April 2nd. Man, if you're into it, you want to have a great day out there, bring the family, go out, see these cars. That's something to participate with. And parents, let me just tell you something right now. There are so many things going on at the schools. There are so many different ways that we can impact the schools in a positive manner. And a lot of that has to do with you sharing your story. And a lot of it has to do with you going down and volunteering at the school, showing up for a career day, showing up for just an event or just a presentation. I've done that. There are different schools that just want you to come in and speak to the students. Go into one of these shop classes. Go into one of these leadership classes. Volunteer at a DECA class to just talk about what you do and how you present your business. Go into one of the virtual enterprise groups. If you're someone who participates in trade shows, tell these students, show these students, teach these students how they should be participating in their virtual trade show, which is really a trade show that they go to. It's all kind of fake money and the rest of that stuff, but they're really going to a trade show. And their success is based upon how well they present their company and also how many sales they make at that trade show. So if you know how to handle yourself at a trade show, you really want to go. But I'll just leave it at that. Won't talk about the other side of it. Those that come on, really? But you definitely want to go. You want to know how to get involved in any of these things? And this is my reach out. Contact me. You can send me an email. My email's up on this thing. You want to call me, whatever it is. Just comment on this thing. Let me know. There's so many things going on. And this is going to be so far-reaching, and it's so good. And it just can work, and it can work for everybody, every school, all over the place. Look, some of these schools that are less funded than other schools, I don't think that's right, but staying with the impact right here that you can have phenomenal impact there. And there's some schools you have no idea the programs that they have on that one. It's just great. Give them a chance to do something that's great. Give these kids a chance to to interact with your business, with your project, with these different trade shows, racing events, stuff like that. Let them explore career opportunities by having a good time doing it. Because and I know that the more you do those things that you love to do, and the earlier in an age that you figure that out, the more you're just going to be totally engaged in it, the more you're going to be successful at it, the more businesses, the more opportunities, the more things are going to come to you, and you're going to be incredibly successful. How? Oh, it may change. It all depends and all the rest of that stuff. Maybe you become a super employee. Maybe you become a super business owner. Maybe you write a book. Maybe just become that super expert, that person that everybody contacts for it. Maybe the future is a bit unknown, but I do know when you do those things that you love to do, sincerely do that, people see it, and that is where success comes from. Contact me. Let me know what you want to participate in. There's many aspects of this whole thing. Even if it's just having a fun time, bringing a camera out, taking a couple of photos of some cool looking cars, or even that ugly duckling. Remember, my friends, do what you do best. Speak well, speak often, and live inspired. A little tomato music on the way out? I tend to think so. Hey, Yosemite, nice job today, my friend.